Today we're talking about 10 huge signs you're an unhealthy INFJ. So I'm somebody who's teaching this stuff for a long time. I've worked with hundreds of INFJs and I've experienced the transition from being an unhealthy INFJ to somebody who's actually healthy, and in a way of I'm leaning towards it. This isn't like an overnight thing. And on top of that, I've experienced this myself. The funniest thing about it is that when I was really unhealthy, I didn't recognize it. I thought of myself as somebody who loved myself, who took care of herself, who was confident, and I wasn't recognizing all the signs that I was neglecting, that I was avoiding, that I was just not seeing, although they were right in front of me, that would have told me, okay, Wences, you need to change something. You need to be able to make better choices, understand why you feel the way you feel, and really wake up every day and be excited about life. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. And I've worked with INFJ clients on this, not just in my one-on-one sessions, but also in the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp, where we are a community, you have accountability, and you see that this is a common pattern. We first off have to recognize what isn't healthy about the way we live our life, what is making us unhappy, and how to change that. And for INFJs, it's a very particular path. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 10 signs you can find out that you're an unhealthy INFJ and how you can quickly make a turnaround and change those behaviors starting today. Before we get started, remember to download the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ Epic Life, so you have something with you that always shows you, okay, lean into that direction, you'll get healthier, you get happier, you get wealthier, you get more in purpose, and it's just an amazing tool. It's actually the basis of our INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. It opens only every 3 months, so join the waiting list. It is limited seating, so make sure you're on top of it, you don't miss it. Next one is going live in October. Sign number 1, you have a hard time making decisions. This is a very telling sign because we as INFJs have a very difficult time distinguishing between what is our own opinion, what is our own preference, and what is the want of others. So every single time you're in a position where you have to decide, what movie am I going to watch? What city am I going to move to? What am I going to do with your life? So that doesn't matter how small or big that decision is. We have a hard time distinguishing between other people's opinion and how important that is in comparison to ourselves. So if you're in that situation and you constantly don't know what you want actually, that's why you're having a hard time to making a decision. Maybe because even one friend wants this and the other one wants something else. Trust me, that's a big sign that you are in an unhealthy state and you have to get back to your core and be aware of what you want and what you need. Sign number 2, you're always anxious. So an INFJ is a very laid back type. We're all about daydreaming, we're all about being at peace and at harmony. This is the state we feel most comfortable with. So if you go through life and you're anxious all the time, that you're either having to walk on eggshells not to hurt somebody's feeling, or you say, I have to keep myself small so people don't see me and they don't want anything from me. If you always go through life feeling you have to make yourself a certain way in order not to have an effect on other people, then this is a clear sign that you're on an unhealthy path. You're not responsible for how people feel, and you're definitely not responsible about how you expressing your truth makes other people feel. But it's really hard to change that once you're in this aspect of nobody else is going to help them. I'm the only one who understands them, so of course I have to do whatever it is in order to make others feel good. And that always comes with a high level of anxiety that's going on every single day of your life. Sign number 3, you always feel like you never fit in anywhere. So we as INFJs, yes, I know there's this common misbelief that we're outcasts, that we are observers, that we are misfits, or somehow we don't fit in, we're always different. Yeah, that may be, but the thing is this, once you're in a space where you're so in alignment with who you want to be, you automatically go towards the people who are more like you, who can share things with you. I personally don't experience any of this anymore of people don't understand me. I always feel different, and I used to feel like this every single minute of my life. I've not only seen this with me, as I said, I've seen this in the bootcamp, I've seen this with my clients. I talk to you all the time time. And specifically, if you're in a group environment like the boot camp, you see also other INFJs who are not only there to support each other, but you have the accountability. You see, oh, we're all moving into the same direction. We're actually changing our self-belief, our belief about who we are and what we deserve, and how much we prioritize this in our lives. Trust me, it does not have to be that you feel like you don't fit in anywhere. It's not that the people around you right now who are different than you are going to understand you, or that you have to adapt yourself in order to fit in with them. No, it's actually the opposite. The more you stick to, this is who I am, and I'm not hiding it anymore, no matter how it makes others feel, no matter if that makes other people judge you, because you have no capacity anymore. You don't care. You just stay true to yourself, and because of that, you automatically take actions towards people who are more in alignment with you, who understand you, who want to see you win, and who want to support your well-being. It's actually rather similar when we talk now about sign number 4, which is that people always think you're too sensitive or too emotional. Well, of course, there are people in this world who think you're too emotional or too sensitive. And it's not about making them change their minds. It's about just accepting that you are as sensitive as you are, as emotional as you are, and there is no such thing as this is a right benchmark and this one isn't. It's just a matter of you loving your well-being most, so you don't care that other people say that you're too sensitive or you're too emotional. That does not mean in any case that you stay around that and you pretend you don't care. That's not what a person does who's in alignment with their own inner peace more than what other people judge him or her for. What I'm saying here is, if you feel like the people around you think you're too sensitive, then those aren't the right people to be around you. And very often, if we're on the unhealthy side, we don't feel like we have the courage to say no to that, because it feels like if I say no to that, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be all by myself. I'm going to live a boring life, and I'd rather have drama and people making me feel like I'm too emotional, too sensitive, and whatever it may be, than to choose the other route. But that again is actually a sign of being unhealthy, because the people around you, you have chosen them to be in your life because they're a representation of what you believe about yourself. It's not that you have imprinted this into your life from birth. Of course, there have been people around you who've made you feel this way, but we have taken this on, and as INFJs, this is one very common sign that we need to change something. That no, not everything is okay, because you are judging yourself on standards that have absolutely nothing to do with who you are, what makes you feel good, and it doesn't matter that the people around you don't understand it. Just think about it. If you didn't feel like you were too sensitive or too emotional, you wouldn't even hang out with these people, because you know these people don't appreciate your emotionality, your sensitivity. They're not here to support you, and you don't even want to have them in your life, because that kind of energetic exchange doesn't make you feel good. So again, the path to being a healthy INFJ is to understand I am the way I am, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is actually perfect. Let me express that, let me be that, let me accept all of that, and just seek out people who want that, who appreciate that, and everybody else doesn't matter. I know it's not easy and it's a process, but you can do it. And if you need help in this process and you want this to go faster, there's so many options out there, starting with, get coaching or join the boot camp. These are just examples of strategies that will help you. I'm not saying that's the only way, but I know that this works. That's all I'm saying. You can also do this by yourself. You know what is going to work for you. For some people, doing it on their own works perfectly. For others, it's much more efficient to get a coach, to get mentorship, to get help. And on top of that, you always have the comment section here. You always have an opportunity to talk to other INFJs, to encourage each other, watch those videos, get the poster. There are always things you can start with today. Number 5, your self-esteem is low and you find it hard to trust people. So this one is a tricky one, because I believe most INFJs actually feel like, oh, I do have self-esteem. I am a strong person. That's why I'm helping others. And I'm helping actually people who don't appreciate it, maybe people who turn out to be narcissists in the long run, but that's actually a sign of being an unhealthy INFJ. I know this from my personal experience so well. I thought I had high self-esteem. I believed in myself. I loved myself. But what did I do? I hung around people who continuously blamed me, made me feel bad, rejected me, and I always felt like, oh, I just have to make them understand they're suffering. What I allowed them to do is to project all their negative feelings towards me just because I can take it. But just because you can take something doesn't mean you should. Just because you're strong enough to hold on to all of this anger and pain from others doesn't mean that that's the best way to use your power. Imagine what you could do if you wouldn't use this mental strength of yours as an INFJ to merely survive, but you would actually use it to thrive. You put yourself in a healthy environment, you say no to any toxic things happening around you, and then all that energy that you're saving on making all this drama work around you, now you put towards fulfilling your purpose, living out your vocation, creating an amazing life on your terms, and that's a life I always call living an INFJ epic life on your terms. That's what we do over here. Those are the transformations we're making on a daily basis, and you're a part of it now. Sign number 6, you overthink everything and you don't take action. So when we as INFJs are way too much in our head, it's because we don't believe that we have the right to make things happen in the real world. And even if we would, what would happen? We would be open for other people's judgment. It would once and for all show us maybe we're not as great as we think we are. Maybe our ideas aren't as amazing. We're actually put to the test. But what happens in the process is that you recognize that it's not about how other people perceive you. It's actually about how you perceive yourself. And the moment you say, I'm enough and done is better than perfect, so you actually tap into your fourth function, extroverted sensing, knowing it's not going to be as big and as loud and as fast as other people do it, but you do it anyway because you choose you. That's when the magic happens. When you take the next step, when you make things happen in the real world, and then you really stop overthinking. So if you're constantly overthinking, can't make any decisions, that's a great sign that it's time to change. Sign number 7, you're always exhausted. The INFJ is a laid-back type. The INFJ loves to take things at their own pace, to make things happen in such a way that you don't even know how they happened. We like to find the most efficient way to make something happen with the least effort possible. That's our go-to. That's one of our biggest gifts. So if you feel like you're doing the bare minimum and you still feel exhausted, trust me, you're an unhealthy INFJ. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We've all been there. I've been there, but it doesn't have to be this way. Why are you feeling this way? You're feeling this way because the way your life is set up, it drains more energy from you than what you actually receive. That's a clear sign that you're unhealthy. This is not going in the right direction. It's time to change. And here we have the solutions. Watch those videos, join the boot camp. Make sure that you work with me if you feel this is the time for you, and definitely talk to the people in the comment section. We're here to help each other. It is possible. And when you have a clear sign like this, it's so much easier to take the right actions. We as INFJs, I always say, we don't have to take all the steps. We just have to take the right steps. You deserve to have a life of constant overflow of energy, not one where you're constantly exhausted and you have barely anything left for yourself. Sign number 8, you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. That's actually rather similar to sign number 7, because what makes you get up in the morning? It's not just the alarm. It's not just the obligation of I need to be at work. And it's also not just a thing of energy. It's also about excitement. It's about the trajectory of where your life is going towards. And if you feel like the way my life is going right now, there is nothing to be excited for, of course you're going to lose the motivation to get up in the morning. That's not what life is about. You have the right to make a difference here, and you can do it if you just take the right steps. It's not something that happens overnight, but it will happen. It's about making the conscious choice of I'm creating my INFJ epic life. I can do this. I'm going to get the help that I need, and things are going to move forward. I'm going to watch the videos. I'm going to get the resources that will help me. You know that life can be better than this. And I can tell you, not just from first-hand experience, but from, as I said before, hundreds of INFJs that I've worked with, this is doable. You don't have to stay in this state forever. Sign number 1, your relationships are either non-existent or they don't last very long. This happens to INFJs so often because we always choose partners or potential partners who could be our project. They could be our solution or something that represents what we would want from life. But that's not a relationship that can sustain itself for the long run. The thing that is healthy for us is to find somebody who's healthy just as much as we are, and we're both going on our own path towards our dreams, and we're creating things together and helping each other. It's a relationship that is on equal grounds, that is eye level. That's what we're looking for. And if you feel like, oh, I could upgrade you, or I could make you feel good, I could fix you, or my life wouldn't be boring once I'm with you, these are all things that show you, okay, I need to change something. Because if this would work, it would have worked in the past. And we all have experienced more than once this is not the case. And sign number 1, you want to be alone almost all the time. And if you want to meet somebody, then it's just because you have to eat something, you don't want to sit alone, or you have to experience some kind of bonding over, let's say, family dinners that you are obligated to do so. You don't want to go out and socialize. So I've talked about you in the past that we as INFJs, we don't need that much social interactions. We do need a lot of alone time, but we still need social interactions. Not much, but we need some of them, and we need them to touch us and to touch us deeply and to give us a feeling of connectiveness. We are INFJs, but yeah, we're still people. We still need to feel like we're connected. And if we put ourselves away from that, if we don't want to have social interactions, it's because we don't have the strength to keep them up. We don't have the strength to interact with people. This is a clear sign that something is not right. I've been there. I remember vividly when my best friend came home when we used to live together like years ago, and I was in one of those phases. I was listening to music, and the thought of I having to stop this and talk to her was just not something that I was willing to do at all. I was just hiding from reality because I just couldn't face it. I couldn't face that my life was not the way I wanted it to, and I was really close to a breaking point. Thankfully, this breaking point was the best thing that ever happened in my life. That's when I started to use the tactics I talk about here for my personal growth. I started helping people. I started this channel. That's how this whole thing grew. And now we have, coaching, we have boot camp, we have all of that. And I'm so thankful for this community because I see that you all are helping each other as well. Make sure if you want to dive deeper, check out the links in the description, sign up for the bootcamp waiting list, work with me, and definitely if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on the 5 healths for an INFJ.